Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Wednesday to you and your family. We're going to take a look here, of course, at Bitcoin, see what's going on, and help understand best practice big picture. And if you're new to the channel, really, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been trading for over 15 years, and I have learned a thing or two. So I do have a trading academy community and signal group if you're interested in becoming a better trader and kind of seeing how I structure my trades. I do have an academy as well that helps teach you the things that I know, give you those strong fundamentals. So check that out in your own time, CryptoCache.tech, link in the description below. So take a look here at Bitcoin. We all know the stark reality here of what's going on. Not fantastic, kind of stuck in a channel here, somewhere in between 28,700 and 30,500. Okay, we've been channel bound, or essentially range bound, for about 10 days now. So there is an inevitability that will occur soon where the price will either break up or down. Okay. Now the likelihood of it breaking down is higher just based on what we've discussed here so far with the moving averages on the larger time frames. But at this point, it does look like it may want to try to retest 30,500. It did, however, overnight or recently, this morning before the traditional market opened, it peaked up. It wicked up here to about 30,300. So that is making effectively a lower high, and that's traditionally disadvantageous. Again, we'll look at some other details, kind of double check that, but let's go ahead and start with the big picture and work our way down. Once again, we're under the 20-day set moving average on the monthly. Every time we've done this in the past, we've stayed underneath for at least 6 months. Now, not to guarantee that it'll come back up above in 6 months, but it does seem like it's a likelihood, whereas the 100-day set moving average is also following the same trend. Correction, I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's the 50-day set moving average. That is effectively going to be working as a support level moving forward. And once again, that has in the past. You lose the 20, the 50 comes in to save the day on the monthly. That's how it's worked previously, and that was roughly 4 years ago. So we got to keep in mind that 4-year cycle could be coming to fruition here. That being said, let's look at the weekly as well. Something to acknowledge here is pretty much the same exact scenario, minus the moving averages are above. What I'm getting at is the 200-day set moving average is the one that's going to also be averaging out with the 100. So for lack of better terms here, what I'm getting at is the easy way to understand it is that we should have a floor somewhere in the range of 20 to 24,000. I know it seems like a pretty large range, but the 50-day SMA on the daily is trending, on the monthly, it's trending right at that range of 21,000, and here on the weekly, we're seeing it at about 22,000. And they're both slowly working their way up. So if we were to continue to the downside here, once again, we've got 9 weeks of continuation to the downside, we would see probably a worst case scenario of 20 to 24,000. To me, that's a best case scenario. I'd love to see that because it will not spend much time down there if it were to, based on the simple fact that that's an extremely low value. But we do also have to acknowledge there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, the market, inflation, etc. Everything is essentially coming to a head. And Bitcoin being a secondary market, a lot of folks are going to be taking their profits here, and of course, altcoins are going to get damaged along the way. So just be very cautious if you have altcoins right now. Swing trades are maybe not the best method. Best method right now, and I'm teaching this to my community, is dollar cost average as much as you can. But once again, don't dollar cost average too much because we're expecting more downside, right? So just little bits at a time, but frequently adding to your position if you have that opportunity. Okay. That being said, not much else to really note. We could look at the regular stuff here on the daily and probably kind of get a better perspective, because what I want to kind of acknowledge is that we're still under 50 on the RSI, and the simple fact of the matter is the RSI is coming up and the price is going sideways. That usually is not a great sign. That's concurrent with a hidden bearish divergence, and essentially telling us that the likelihood of the price action continuing lower is greater, because the oscillator is basically telling us that the price is getting back to normal. It's averaging itself out. So if the average true range here is 30,000, that really just implies that we have that shelf and that strong amount of volume resistance, and that will likely push the price action down further. Again, a lot of different schools of thought there. You can totally, disagree, but most signs are pointing down right now. There's no reason to kind of be, a hope and a prayer right now and wish the price were to come up. I recognize, there's a lot of bullish, considerations out there, but you need to kind of change your mindset sometimes and understand that, there is definitely more downside potential. Again, most of the things we're looking at on the macro, points down. We're going to look at the micro here soon. We'll look at the 4 hour, 1 hour, maybe 15-minute and kind of see what's going on. But generally speaking, a lot of the signs that we see here so far are false positives. And most moving averages are saying the price will continue down. In fact, we've got the 20-day set moving average right now coming to a head. It's going to be, well, okay, maybe not full head, but it's testing or working its way into that resistance level, that channel. So it'd be really interesting to see how the price action responds to the 20-day set moving average on the daily. So just pay attention to that, I guess you could say, over the coming days here. Taking a look at the 4 hour, something to acknowledge as well as we did. RSI came up to maybe 60, came back down to almost effectively bounce off of 50 on the RSI. So that, again, appears to be a positive thing, but we got to understand that we haven't made higher highs yet. Until we do, there's no reason to get excited, okay? So again, just something to bear in mind there. There is a great chance that we could see that the price come back up to test this resistance level and potentially break. The reason why I say that is because it's only a matter of time before one of these two support and resistance levels is broken. You cannot be range bound forever. Bitcoin's notoriously known for not being range bound for a very long time. And this being, maybe about a 10 days, maybe 14 days worth of price action in the same exact range. It's a really strange thing. So once again, the likelihood of breakout is pretty high. Will it break to the upside? It's equally as potential as it breaks to the downside. I know that seems kind of crazy, but it's a complete gamble right now. So we just got to really see how this resistance level is tested and how it effectively responds to that. My guess is we're going to see another sell-off just based on the simple fact of greed being a very strong factor in this fearish market that we're in. And we need to understand that we probably won't see a super strong rally if it were to break that level. So just please be in mind, bear in mind right here, we can see the descending type of pattern is trending right around 35,000. So I would say best case scenario is 35,000 if the price were to come up. It'll probably get rejected somewhere in the range of 32 to 34 though. Again, different schools of thought, so this is not guaranteed, but in my experience, I can tell you this is shaping up to likely continue to the downside, just in the overall sense of the way that the markets. I mean, everything is really just right there, kind of telling us it wants to come back down further. That said, taking a look here at the hourly does look decent in a way. Well, obviously, we have to be able to make a higher high here in order for this continuation to happen. If we don't break this 30,200 sometime today, or in this little trend here, then we're not going to see the price action continue higher. We're going to see lower highs continuously, and that would be a problem. In other words, it would basically be working itself into a type of wedge and inevitably break down in most cases based on the fact that it started up here. Okay, again, drawing trend lines and specific patterns on lower time frames is less reliable. So please understand that. This is an hourly time frame. There's no guarantees that this type of shape or pattern is going to come to a head. But if it were to, just say hypothetically, we started up here. When you work your way down, the price always continues lower from there. That's a bearish type of flag pattern or bearish pendant pattern, however you want to call it. That's essentially what's happening here. So just bear in mind, we kind of have, again, another false positive on the hourly as far as a pattern is concerned. And the fact that this didn't come up above this is a concern for me. So once again, if this can go higher than this guy, then we're in pretty good shape there to see a continuation of the upside. But if we get a rejection here shortly, and 30,000 holds as a strong resistance, for example, and the price comes back down, you can expect it to continue to come down lower. Again, patterns have a tendency to repeating themselves, but they don't always have to. And once again, patterns are better on larger time frames, hourly, not the most significantly reliable. Okay, so you could argue that we're making higher lows, yes, but we still haven't made higher highs yet. All right, and that's important to understand. So taking a look here, of course, at the 15-minute, we'll just quickly take a look at some standard deviation and kind of see if the volume weighted average price, everything's working pretty well within the lines. Obviously, we got the sell-off from yesterday, but in general here, the price keeps testing the volume weighted average price, and it's up tentatively above. Now, to me, confirmation is 30 minutes of continuation to the upside above the volume weighted average price. So in other words, if we were to use my notification here, it's not giving us an indication that we want to take a signal. Of course, back here, it pretty much told us we should, but once again, hindsight's 20/20, right? That being said, where we're at presently, we don't have any specific or definitive, proof here that we've broken through the volume weighted average price line and that we have that confirmation to the upside. So really, I would say focus on the higher highs and higher lows if we can establish them. If we see this, once again, this new trend here, this next potential increase, if it's higher than 30,200, then there's a good chance we're going to see 30,500 tested and potentially broken. Okay. But of course, the inverse applies here as well. We're making lower highs, and if this next high here is lower, that would be extremely disadvantageous and kind of give us that confirmation that the pendant pattern may continue to the downside. All right. So again, just some things to kind of think about. Again, there's certainly no guarantees right now. I mean, I think a lot of us expected different. I know I anticipated a breakout here because it certainly looked like it was trying to test that resistance level, and it came straight back down. So, unfortunately, yeah, got stopped out on a trade right there. But you know what? You get back on the horse and you trade again, but you learn from your mistakes. And at this point, what we can see and we can acknowledge is that we're range bound between 28,700 and 30,500. Those are just some real things happening right now. And until it breaks above or below, there's no reason to get super bullish or super bearish. But final thoughts here, all the macro points down. We have no supporting evidence showing that the price should increase. Or if it does increase, we don't have any evidence that it'll increase and stay and hold that position. Okay. So again, a lot of stuff is working against us right now, and we just need to be aware of that. Okay. So try not to be the folks that get super excited about these little things here, because they're going to continue to happen. As soon as you get excited, then the bears are going to take their profits. And they're laughing all the way to the bank too, because they're making millions of dollars and we're struggling with only hundreds. So unfortunately, that's just the way of the world and the way that crypto works. If you don't like it, you're probably in the wrong industry. You got to grow thick skin and understand that this is just the way that it works, and there's no other way around it. The best method is to be true to yourself and to help always work within your risk tolerance. Those are things I teach in my academy, and I can tell you that it's important to have those fundamentals, the emotional fundamentals, if you will, because if you don't know who you are and you're just trading erratically, and it's never a good sign to get back in. It's okay to get on the horse, right? Like I mentioned, but you don't want to get back in and ride the angry horse, if that makes any sense. Because revenge trading is a terrible thing. Either way, I think that we're all set here. No need to keep going in circles. You get the point. Be careful. Let's be optimistic, but on the same accord, realistic in the sense that we're not quite out of the woods yet. And I think we still got plenty of time left in this journey. My speculation, another 2 or 3 months before we see the bottom. That's kind of just what it feels like. All right, well, I hope you learned something here today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I do look forward to working with you, and thank you so much again for all the support to my current community members. We have over 200 active members presently. It's a really amazing experience, so thank you for making my life better, just in the sense of knowing I provide something of value for you. Thank you for that. All right, hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.